The first time I ever did a story about black college athletes terrorizing a small town was in Saratoga Springs. I mean, this is a little town in the middle of horse country. No crime. Everybody leaves their doors unlocked. Then one day, somebody on the board of directors of the college said, "Hey, we ought to have a basketball team. It'd be good for the college, add a little diversity, make a little money. It's a win-win. Let's go do it." The athletic director said, "Great idea." They got a basketball coach. First thing he did is head down to the ghettos of New York and Brooklyn and the Bronx, and he started recruiting 5, 10, 15, 20 people a year out of there. A crime wave followed soon after. All came to a head when a couple of the basketball players were in a local diner, and they didn't like the fact that the sheriff, the local constable, was having lunch with a black guy. Next thing you know, there's like a major mini riot inside the diner. The basketball players were beating the hell out of people in the diner. The college president, a social justice warrior, she was the interim president. She sends a statement saying, yeah, it was racist that anybody arrested these guys for trashing the diner, attacking the cop, and attacking the black guy. Well, that is what brought it to a head. Everybody looked at her and said, A, you're crazy. B, we don't want this. C, we don't want you. D, we haven't really heard that much about crime from college athletes in that little town since then. Let's flash forward to today, to Western Michigan, to a really nasty bit of business involving a couple of football players.
The victim, a 20-year-old female, had just moved into this apartment just a few days ago and was thinking about attending Western next year. She says one of the men had sent her a message on Twitter asking her to hang out, but she never thought it would lead to her possible death. And a warning, some of what you're about to hear may be disturbing to some.
Around 8:30 Friday night, the victim, who wishes to remain anonymous, heard a knock on her door.
I looked out the peephole, but the peephole was black, but I figured, this is like a not too nice apartment. Maybe it just doesn't work type thing. And so I unlocked the door and I cracked it maybe an inch and saw sunglasses, bandana, and a gun, and I knew exactly what was about to happen.
She says 18-year-old Ron George pushed their way into her apartment with a gun and knife in hand. At the same time, the victim's male friend hid in the bedroom closet.
They came in, I guess, and they threw me over the couch. At that point, they took my phone. They'd made several death threats at that point. They had a knife, and the gun was pointed at me the entire time up until this point.
The suspects asking her for money and drugs, eventually taking around $400 in cash and a speaker. When they asked for more, the situation escalated.
They were like, "You better quit lying to me before I slit your throat." And then he was like, "Go in the bathroom," and this is where it got real weird. He told me to turn around, and he pointed the gun at the back of my head and like nudged me real hard with it and was like, "Take off your shirt." And I was like, "I'm not taking off my clothes." And he was like, "Take off your shirt before I blow your brains out," is what he said. And I'm not taking off my clothes.
White allegedly attempted to assault her while George telling him to back off. He pushed her against the bathroom wall, leaving a dent in the towel rack on the wall.
That was like the most terrifying thing I've ever
had to deal with. I don't know.
The victim eventually locked herself in the bathroom while the suspects were in her apartment for nearly 5 minutes, shuffling through her belongings.
I had a gun to my head. I got told over 8 times they were going to kill me. I potentially almost got raped, and that could be any one of like a parent's child that goes to this college.
Neighbors on the street shocked when they heard what happened.
Wow, freshman on the football team. It's crazy knowing that's probably what their first semester. I don't want people with a big W on their shirt that I know are going out and trying to kill people or trying to steal things from people.
Now, the victim says she no longer wishes to attend Western Michigan University and plans on moving out of the apartment soon. Western Michigan football coach P.J. Fleck released a statement after learning about the robbery. He says both players were immediately suspended from the team and their actions do not represent the values of this team or university.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. The weirdest things, or one of the weirdest things about the story, right by me the first time I watched this video, then I read the comments and somebody else picked up on it. There was another person in that apartment, this girl's boyfriend. As soon as everything started going down, he hid in the closet. That's where he remained during the duration of this rather horrific bit of violence. So anyway, that's what's happening in Kalamazoo, Michigan. You know, this Western Michigan, it's supposed to be, it's supposed to have some really, really good programs for theater and dance. Madonna took her kid there on a school trip. And people who live there say it's a really, really nice place. They got this cool downtown with lots of table-to-farm restaurants, lots of cool little places in the old downtown. But, oh, yeah, there is one little part of town that's a no-go zone. Don't worry about that because it's all good, even still, violent crime is twice the national average in Kalamazoo. The black population in Kalamazoo is 20%. And crimes against property are almost 100% greater than the national average as well. I checked the Cleary reports of violent crime on the campus. Not a whole lot there. I checked some of the other sources in and around Kalamazoo, and I'm pretty sure this is true. The theater and dance students are not participating in exorbitant levels of violent crime. I think people in Kalamazoo know that. All they have left to figure out now is how not to make the black kids angry.